Welcome to the Hustle Wing podcast. Today we are joined by Ken Hubbell, the co-founder and CEO of Soffos Inc. He's going to chat to us today about his company. We're going to get to know him a little bit, and just have a generally good time. So, thank you so much for your time, Ken. How are you feeling? Compliments of the new season.
Yeah, Happy New Year. No, things are good. Things are good. We are rolling into the new year and excited about the opportunities.
Yeah. I mentioned before we started recording that you said you started the new year active. What is it? You
Yes,
started actively.
I did say that. Yes, we are very active.
I love that. I love that word. I think I'm going to start using it more now. I got
There you
it.
go.
Awesome. So, what is Sophos Inc? What do you guys do?
So Sophos Inc. started off back in 2018, maybe even a little
Okay.
bit earlier than that. My co-founder and I had this vision, this dream of using artificial intelligence. And this is way before ChatGPT, but
Okay.
using artificial intelligence to level the playing field for education and provide
Mm,
a platform and a way for people to be able to access information and learning and educational materials whenever and wherever they needed it.
yeah.
And so we had gotten into doing natural language processing and conversational AI, and then lo and behold, we found out that while we were trying to build an app at the time, most of the people that we were talking to wanted to license the technology to use in their own apps and
Mm,
their own platforms,
okay.
so learning management systems and authoring tools and things like that.
Yeah.
And so we were like, huh. Well, we were building a set of Lego blocks to build with ourselves, a
Yeah.
set of APIs. We could put a platform together and do a platform as service to be able to meet the needs of our customers and
Mm,
potential other aspects of things. And so we built a platform as service. We call
okay.
it the Sophos platform, and it really targets three audiences. Uh, there's a playground where you can try out the APIs, the
Okay.
different modules that we have, everything from summarization to creating micro lessons to
Uh,
paraphrasing. Uh, we can do SQL generation and all sorts of different things like that. And we have our own chat agent. So
okay.
those are exciting. People can get in there; they can just do one shot, one off uses of it. We fortunately started doing retrieval augmented generation, which is RAG. They call it that now. It's a
Okay.
big buzz right now. We started doing that back in 2018,
Ah.
before it was cool, and before we knew what to call it. And so we've enabled people to use their own documents in combination with our chat agent from day one.
Okay.
And so what's really powerful about that is that not only can you do general information, but you can be very specific to the needs of your organization, your educational institution, to be able to keep the information contained within some guardrails that you define. So
Mm,
so you have that ability with the playground, the one shot. You
yeah.
also, if you're a web developer and you just want to add AI and generative AI to your website, to your web app, you can do that very easily using the APIs that we have.
Mm,
And then we have a full blown SDK. So if you're a really hardcore programmer and you want to do some very advanced usage of the services and the modules that we have, you can do
yeah.
that as well.
Okay.
And we know that people are looking at it from all different perspectives. Our main focus, though, the vision we still have
Hmm.
is the education space, because we
Yeah.
see that as an underserved and yet powerful use of this technology. Now, one
Mm,
of the cool things about the educational industry is that there's something called serious games. And serious games are a way to get kids and adults to
hmm.
do immersive learning experiences, whether it's scenario based learning or whether it's games and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, one of the powerful parts of the AI engine that we built is that we can address that as well.
Okay.
And that means that we can address the gaming industry. So
Yeah.
all these gaming companies that want to add narrative, dynamic narrative and exciting, immersive type experiences, whether it's VR based or whether it's just a regular old video game, um,
Hmm.
you can do that. And that's another benefit of the platform. So we have two real audiences:
Yeah.
the educational space and
The
and the gaming
gaming.
space.
Yeah. Awesome. That's so cool. I mean, it's interesting how you started with one, like you had the education as your end goal, and then you realize that you've just like opened a Pandora's box of all the
Yeah.
opportunities you guys can do. So it's so cool that you kind of like got your fingers in different pies. I love that.
Yeah, but one of the things we realize is it's all about focus,
Yes,
and so it was wonderful that we came round circle back to the education space. I mean, I have 30
definitely.
years of experience in the educational space itself,
Okay.
and several of the folks that are on the team now have backgrounds in education. So
Yeah.
all of us have this passion, this drive to
Yeah.
really level the playing field for learning institutions, whether it's
Yeah.
corporate learning or whether it's K through 12. That's that's a sweet spot, and it's a powerful place to be.
Definitely, definitely. And I love that you're bringing it back, like, to 2023, because I'm going to be honest, it was very difficult studying in high school because I'm not a, visual learner. I'm a kinesthetic learner. I got to, get into it, get my fingers stuck. So those were the best subjects for me. It's when I was doing things. But if I was sitting down and they were like virtual O's and you move the denominator here, I was like falling asleep. And I know a lot of people that experience the same issues, especially with like the rise of ADHD and stuff like that. So that's
Well,
really cool.
one of the things that is a benefit of this technology is
Hmm.
it never gets tired, and it never gets frustrated,
Mm.
or kids will ask you something 5, 10, 12 times. Why is the
Yeah.
sky blue? Why is the sky blue? Why is it? Well, you know these the generative AI
Hmm.
and the types of algorithms that we're talking about, they don't get tired of hearing the same question over and over again. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, one of the things that we've implemented from a Socratic standpoint, Socratic learning, which is having a dialogue based upon questions, is
Yeah.
that ours asks questions back. So if you say, "Why is the sky blue?" You say, "Well, why do you think it's blue?" And so it
Oh,
drives a dialogue. And
yeah.
from a learning standpoint, people learn through back and forth conversation, and
Yeah.
again, it's available, it's never tired.
Yeah.
Those are the fun parts, and it frees up teachers to do more hands-on,
Yeah.
behavioral skills and things like that the
Yeah.
generative AI isn't good at.
Yeah. Awesome. This is so cool. This is so exciting. Okay, cool. So then yeah, you mentioned that you guys are trendsetters. I mean, you started everything before it became cool.
Yeah.
Like AI and RAG and things like that. How did you start the company, or how did you guys like begin that? What's your story?
Well, so back in, I think it was 2013,
Hmm.
um, I had gotten a hold of my first Alexa, the Amazon
Yeah.
Alexa, and
Yeah.
I started programming and building skills, because I thought, I coming into it from the education space, I wanted to be able to not just do a trivia game, but actually have it do meaningful learning experiences. In particular, performance support. So
Yeah.
I'm doing my job, my hands are full. Let's say I'm a mechanic and I'm working on something, and I want
Okay.
to know the settings for a certain torque ratio, or I want to know
Yeah.
how to time something. And my
Yeah.
hands are greasy. I don't want to go over a computer. I don't have to go search it up in books. So wouldn't it be
Yeah.
great if I could just talk to it and
Yeah.
ask and then get the answer? And so I
Hmm.
built some early prototypes. I did some work for a couple of different companies,
Okay.
building these types of things. And then Nick Karinas, who's my co-founder,
Hmm.
he and I uh, met online actually, and but we found we had a very similar background and in a similar philosophy on wanting to use AI in learning. And
Yeah.
he had a company at the time that was working on preliminary large language models and natural language processing
Yeah.
and a variety of other algorithms that we were working on that would allow you to do things that other platforms weren't or didn't
Yeah.
even exist at the time. And so that's how we met. So we met, basically chatting on LinkedIn for a bit,
Yeah.
and then we started chatting on uh, Zoom calls,
Yeah.
and we started this company. And I came on board initially as an advisor
Okay.
on the learning side of things, on the education
Yeah.
space. And we rapidly realized, okay, so we really want to get me involved, more so.
Yeah.
And so I had a background in product design and educational technology. So they
Yes.
brought me on as chief product officer first, and
Ah.
I'm still 50, maybe 25% doing the CPO side of things.
Yeah.
Uh, but back in October of last year, after we had our version 2 release of the product, um, the CEO, the interim CEO we had, it just didn't work out. She went on to
Yeah.
some other things, and the board asked me to take over. They said, "You've got the passion, you got the drive, you've got the, you know." I do a lot of speaking, and
Yeah.
I just finished writing a book on the topic of
Okay.
AI for teamwork in companies.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
there is AI in team. If anybody wants to pick up a copy, but
That's
the
cute.
important thing is that I had the connections and the experience in the space to take
Hmm.
us to this next stage. And so we're really excited about where we're going this year. We've got some product releases that we're going to talk about, as we go into the year a little bit farther.
Yeah.
But it's very exciting, very. People tend to talk about Chat GPT as if it's this finished thing, or generative AI as okay, it's
Mhm.
there, it's done, we're over with. I mean, we have
Yeah.
barely scratched the surface. We're just starting in this. It's so exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. All right. Well, then thank you so much for sharing. So what are some of the challenges that you guys are facing at Sophos at the moment?
The biggest challenge we have right now is, unlike OpenAI and some other big name companies that have billions of dollars sitting around, um, we are in our seed extension round.
Mm.
So we would like to get some capital going, whether it's through straight product development for companies, or through VC, venture capital money.
Yeah.
So we're looking at various opportunities there, but that's our biggest thing, is that we have we have a go to market strategy. We
Yeah.
just lack funding, and so like a lot of companies, I mean, this is the nature of the beast when you have an entrepreneurial model
Yeah.
for what you're doing. So that's our biggest challenge, is that and just keeping keeping ahead of the pace of the technology. We've been
Yes.
fortunate that we've been ahead of the curve most of the way,
Yeah.
and we continue to see that. What
Yeah.
we you know, but that takes time and energy and resources to be
Of
able to do that.
course.
So, and that's
Yeah.
where companies like Hustling can come into play, because as we hit these points where we need to have a skill set that we don't have enough of,
Yeah.
that we can scale effectively while
Yeah.
managing the assets that we have from and the resource dollars that we have from our investors,
Yeah.
and make the company keep working.
Yeah. Fantastic. Okay, great. Well, then I guess we can segue into the last question from there, which is what sort of assistance would you need from or would you like from our community?
Yeah. So from the standpoint of the platform and where we're going with it from a product standpoint,
Hmm.
obviously, front end developers are critical.
Yeah.
um, Full stack folks, people
Okay.
that know Python.
Yes.
Everybody talks about Python, and they're like, that's the core behind all this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, it is the core behind this stuff. I mean, I'm a JavaScript guy and a React guy,
Uh-huh.
by nature, and
Okay.
so I come at it from a user standpoint But if you want to talk about
Mm,
what's happening behind the scenes that really makes the magic happen, it's Python.
it's Python.
And so we need Python developers,
Yeah.
uh, React developers, React Native
Hmm.
developers,
Okay.
any of the flavors on top of that. Uh,
Okay.
JavaScript straight up is always a good thing.
Yeah.
But we also need people that are, and we're heading more into this now.
Okay.
We need people that are creative in the way they think about using AI. It's not just this engine that
Mm,
just sits there and magically does stuff. We got
mm,
to have
yeah.
people that can think beyond that. So, when I think about AI and generative AI, it's all about delegating things that you would normally do as a human being
Yeah.
to a machine,
Yeah.
and having the machine do what it does best, and
Yes.
then have it coordinate with what humans do best.
Yeah.
And people that can think about those kinds of concepts,
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about when we're talking about this year's growth and change is
Yeah.
how do we best use this technology
Yeah.
to create really cool things that help people do things that they would otherwise have to either spend a lot of time doing or not be able to do at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much, Ken. You did mention that you had a go-to-market strategy. Is that like a
Yeah.
marketing and sales and things like that?
Yeah. So another aspect of what we are looking at, and we haven't decided fully. Of course, we don't. We're still raising the money for it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
we haven't decided fully whether we're going to go with a straight up agency to do this,
Okay.
or whether we want to bring in, um,
Like
some
an in-house
freelance
person.
folks,
Yeah.
because the thing about the agencies are great, but
Yeah.
they are tried and true in what they've been doing for years and decades,
Yeah.
and this is a different type of mindset. And
Yeah.
it's not to say that they can't adapt and pivot to go with it,
Yeah.
but we want people that if you're going to tell our message, you should probably be using the technology in the process of doing that.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
we're all about eating our own dog food, as they say. So,
Yeah. I got it. I know a bit of a different version of that, but I get you.
yeah.
All right. And, yeah, then thank you again for sharing, Ken. I love, Sophos Inc. and what you guys do. I love that you guys think outside the box. Anything that is sort of, trend setting or just, a little bit different always gets me
Yeah.
excited. So I cannot wait to see what you guys have in store for 2024. And yeah, and we'll definitely be connecting again soon.
Sounds great, Izzy.
Awesome. Thanks for your time.
Thanks. Bye bye.